the King Tiger, a name that still sends shivers down veterans' spines. This 69-ton steel behemoth prowled the battlefields of World War II like a predator among prey, with armor thick enough to shrug off direct hits and a gun that could annihilate enemies before they even saw it coming. Was this German colossus truly the unstoppable juggernaut of legend? Or was its fearsome reputation built on something else entirely? What made the King Tiger such a legendary tank? Known for its immense weight of 69 tons, it became infamous during World War II for its overwhelming firepower. Its 88mm gun could obliterate most enemy vehicles at long range, while thick, sloped armor made it nearly impervious to Allied fire. But was its raw power enough to secure victory? Let's dig deeper. Allied soldiers described the unique terror of hearing a King Tiger before seeing it. The low mechanical growl of its Maybach engine echoed through forests and villages, giving defenders precious seconds to contemplate their fate. Many crews abandoned their positions at just the rumor of King Tigers approaching. This psychological impact may have been as valuable as any physical advantage, an invisible weapon that cleared paths before the first shell was fired. The King Tiger quickly gained a reputation as both a symbol of military power and a source of fear. Its heavy armor and formidable 88mm gun made it nearly unstoppable on the battlefield. Soldiers on both sides respected its strength, while enemy forces dreaded encountering it. Over time, the King Tiger became a symbol of Germany's wartime might, both feared and admired. Its imposing presence and legendary status in pop culture reinforced its status as an icon of World War II, cementing its place in history as one of the most famous tanks ever built. The King Tiger wasn't just a weapon, it was a propaganda centerpiece. German newsreels featured it prominently, showcasing its power to boost home front morale. Allied propaganda countered by exaggerating its weaknesses. Both sides understood that the Tiger's symbolic value sometimes outweighed its tactical importance. Even today, in video games and films, the King Tiger remains the ultimate symbol of armored warfare, a testament to its psychological impact that continues decades after its final battle. The King Tiger's creation began in 1937 when the German military sought a vehicle to outmatch its enemies. Initially, two companies, Henschel and Porsche, were tasked with designing the new superweapon. Porsche's layout was unique but impractical, leading to Henschel's more effective design for mass production. Despite different visions, their competition produced a formidable machine. The final version combined exceptional firepower, armor, and mobility, traits that made it a terrifying force on the battlefield. How did these competing ideas converge into a true legend? Behind the scenes, German engineers faced impossible demands. Hitler insisted on ever-increasing armor and firepower, while generals needed practical battlefield performance. This tension created heated debates in design meetings where engineers argued that a tank that cannot move is just an expensive bunker. The final King Tiger design represented a compromise that satisfied no one completely, perhaps explaining why it embodied both revolutionary strengths and fatal flaws. Was this tension the secret ingredient that made it legendary? The King Tiger featured innovative design elements like a torsion bar suspension for smoother rides over rough terrain and a thick, sloped turret armor for superior protection. Its wide tracks reduced the risk of getting stuck. But were these design choices worth the added complexity and weight? Each King Tiger represented over 300,000 labor hours, equivalent to building 20 Sherman tanks. Engineers developed new welding techniques specifically for its massive hull, and metallurgists created special steel alloys to withstand unprecedented impacts. The tank's interior featured innovations like padded crew stations and advanced optics that were decades ahead of their time. These luxuries came at enormous cost, both financial and strategic. Germany diverted resources from producing more practical vehicles, betting everything on technological superiority. Was this a brilliant gamble or fatal overreach? The King Tiger's armor was one of its defining features, making it nearly invulnerable to enemy fire. Its front armor, 100 millimeters thick and sloped at a 30-degree angle, significantly increased its effective thickness, often exceeding 200 millimeters. This design meant that shells would either bounce off or fail to penetrate, even at close range. Its turret was similarly reinforced with up to 185 millimeters of armor. But did this make it unstoppable? While it could deflect most projectiles, the tank's immense weight and slower speed made it vulnerable in other ways. Could its protection truly guarantee survival on the battlefield? Allied tank commanders who encountered the King Tiger spoke of their shells bouncing off like tennis balls. One American Sherman crew claimed they scored 17 direct hits on a single King Tiger without penetrating its armor. In the chaos of battle, these experiences spread like wildfire, creating a mythical aura of invincibility. German crews reinforced this myth, with one commander reporting, "We took over 120 hits during a 3-hour engagement without a single penetration." Were these accounts accurate battlefield reports or the exaggerated stories of shell-shocked survivors? The King Tiger's KWK-43 88mm gun was a game-changer on the battlefield. Known for its exceptional accuracy and long-range capabilities, this weapon could destroy nearly any tank in its sights. Its high-velocity shells could pierce the thickest armor, making even heavily fortified opponents vulnerable. With a range of up to 2,000 meters, the gun could strike enemies from afar with deadly precision. But how did it compare to other weapons of the time? The KWK-43's power provided a decisive advantage, making the King Tiger a dominant force in combat. How did this influence tank battles? Most tank battles occurred at ranges under 800 meters, but King Tiger crews regularly engaged targets at twice that distance. Tank Commander Franz Bake recalled destroying 5 Soviet T-34s in under 3 minutes, none closer than 1,500 meters. This long-range dominance changed battlefield geometry, forcing Allied tanks to operate differently. As one British officer noted, "When Tigers were present, terrain that would normally provide cover suddenly became a killing zone. The psychological impact of being hit without seeing your attacker created a unique dread among Allied armored units. The King Tiger was a formidable opponent, capable of destroying medium and heavy tanks with a single shot from over 1,000 meters. It could also eliminate infantry squads with high explosive shells. However, its heavy weight and slow mobility limited its effectiveness in fast engagements. How did it compare to Allied tanks like the Sherman or T-34? The answer highlights both the strengths and weaknesses of the King Tiger. The numbers tell a staggering story. A single King Tiger could destroy between 10 to 15 enemy tanks before being knocked out itself. This asymmetric exchange rate meant that even a handful of operational King Tigers could dramatically alter a battle's outcome. Soviet General Rotmistrov reportedly ordered his tank commanders to sacrifice 5 T-34s if necessary to eliminate a single King Tiger. This brutal calculus reveals the economic dimension of tank warfare, Allied industrial might versus German technological superiority. In this equation, which factor ultimately determined the war's outcome? The King Tiger had a profound impact on battlefield tactics during World War II. Its immense firepower and thick armor prompted both German and Allied forces to adjust their strategies. For the Germans, it served as a spearhead, breaking enemy lines and causing disruption. For the Allies, confronting the tank required adapting tactics. Crews used flanking maneuvers, coordinated artillery strikes, and targeted weak spots to counter its strengths. How did these changes affect the course of battles? When King Tigers appeared, battlefield momentum paused as both sides recalculated their positions. Allied commanders described it as playing chess while your opponent suddenly gets a queen. Infantry units developed specialized flanking procedures, while air controllers prioritized any reported King Tiger sightings. German commanders, aware of this reaction, sometimes used rumors of King Tiger deployments to freeze enemy advances without risking their precious tanks. This psychological warfare extended beyond the battlefield, influencing strategic planning at the highest levels. The King Tiger made a significant impact in several key battles during World War II. In Normandy, its formidable armor and powerful gun helped hold back Allied forces, though it was often hampered by mechanical issues. On the Eastern Front, the King Tiger faced the Soviet T-34s, where its firepower gave it a distinct advantage, but it struggled with the harsh conditions and long supply lines. Despite its strengths, it wasn't invincible. The tank's presence in these battles often shifted the balance of power, showing how crucial the King Tiger was in both defense and offense during pivotal moments of the war. At Ogledow, Poland, in August 1944, a single King Tiger, commanded by SS Lieutenant Michael Wittmann, held off an entire Soviet armored division for 6 hours. With ammunition running low, Wittmann used his tank's imposing silhouette to bluff attacking forces, appearing on ridgelines briefly before repositioning. Soviet forces reported facing at least 15 Tigers in official communications. These outsized battlefield impacts created a mythos around the King Tiger that sometimes exceeded its actual military value. How many other untold stories shaped its legendary status? When pitted against other heavy tanks of World War II like the Soviet T-34 and the American Sherman, the King Tiger stood out for its thick armor and powerful 88mm gun. The T-34, with its sloped armor and mobility, was highly effective in numbers but lacked the firepower to match the King Tiger at long range. The Sherman, though more reliable and versatile, struggled against the German giant in terms of armor and firepower. The King Tiger's real advantage lay in its devastating offensive power, but it was slower, less maneuverable, and prone to mechanical breakdowns compared to its rivals. Allied tank crews developed specific tactics to counter the King Tiger's advantages. Track shooting became standard practice, targeting the more vulnerable running gear rather than attempting frontal penetration. British Firefly crews were instructed to fire and immediately relocate, avoiding the deadly countershot that would inevitably follow. Soviet tankers employed hugging tactics, getting so close to King Tigers that their guns couldn't depress enough to hit them. These ingenious adaptations showed that battlefield intelligence often trumped technological superiority. Did the King Tiger ultimately accelerate Allied tactical innovation? What alternatives stood against it on battlefield? In response to the King Tiger, both the U.S. and the Soviet Union developed tanks like the M26 Pershing and IS-2. These vehicles focused on mobility, firepower, and armor, designed specifically to counter the German threat. The King Tiger sparked a furious development race among Allied powers. Engineers worked around the clock studying captured examples, searching for weaknesses to exploit. The British developed specialized ammunition like the 17-pounder APDS round specifically to defeat Tiger armor. American engineers fast-tracked the T-26E3 Pershing program, while Soviet designers pushed the IS tank series to new limits. This escalation mirrors modern arms races, where each technological advance triggers countermeasures. The King Tiger's greatest legacy may be how it accelerated tank evolution across all armies. The King Tiger is often portrayed as an unstoppable war machine, but how true is this myth? Its thick armor and powerful gun made it a formidable force on the battlefield, but it had major weaknesses. Its massive size and weight made it slow and prone to mechanical failures, often leaving it vulnerable to ambushes. While it could destroy most enemy tanks at long range, it wasn't invincible. The King Tiger's reputation as a super tank is inflated in popular culture, overlooking the logistical and tactical challenges it faced. So, was it really invincible? Far from it. For every battle where King Tigers dominated, there were others where they failed spectacularly. During the Battle of the Bulge, nearly half the deployed King Tigers broke down before reaching combat. Their enormous fuel consumption, roughly 2 gallons per mile, meant they often ran dry during extended engagements. German tank ace Otto Carius admitted, "We feared mechanical failures more than enemy tanks." These unglamorous truths rarely make it into history books or documentaries, which prefer the simpler narrative of an unbeatable superweapon. What other practical limitations undermine the King Tiger's fearsome reputation? The King Tiger, while a mechanical marvel, posed significant maintenance issues. Its heavy weight and complex suspension often led to failures, particularly on rough terrain. High fuel consumption and difficulty with field repairs limited its operational range. These reliability concerns undermined its battlefield effectiveness. Was the tank's power worth the upkeep? German mechanics called it the beast that devoured itself. Each King Tiger required an average of 14 hours maintenance for every hour of operation, a ratio 3 times higher than Allied tanks. The overlapping road wheels, while providing excellent weight distribution, became notorious for trapping mud and freezing solid in Russian winters. Maintenance crews developed specialized tools just for this tank, including a 2-ton portable crane just to remove the transmission. As one German mechanic noted, sometimes we wondered if we were supporting the tank or if it was consuming us, but why there were so few made. Production of the King Tiger was slow and labor-intensive due to its complexity. Each tank required extensive resources and skilled labor, and Allied bombings further hindered manufacturing efforts. Only around 500 units were completed by the war's end, limiting its battlefield presence. As Allied bombing intensified, King Tiger production moved underground to hardened facilities. Workers assembled components in near darkness, using flashlights, and sometimes even working by touch. Strategic materials became so scarce that quality suffered. Late-war King Tigers used inferior metals that compromised armor integrity. Some tanks left factories missing components to be completed at field depots closer to the front. This fragmented production process created quality control issues that plagued units in the field. Did these makeshift manufacturing methods ultimately undermine the King Tiger's theoretical advantages? Despite its formidable power, the King Tiger faced significant losses on the battlefield. So, how many were actually destroyed in combat? It's estimated that around 400 King Tigers were lost during World War II. But what caused such high casualties despite their strength? A combination of factors contributed to these losses: mechanical failures, vulnerability to airstrikes, fuel shortages, and the difficulty of maintaining these complex machines in the field. Despite their armor and firepower, the logistical and operational challenges led to the eventual loss of many of these legendary tanks. The surprising truth: more King Tigers were abandoned by their crews than destroyed by enemy fire. Advancing Allied forces found dozens of intact King Tigers. Out of fuel or with minor mechanical issues their crews couldn't repair before retreating. One American soldier recalled, "We captured 3 perfect Tigers in a single day, all out of gas." German commanders often ordered working tanks destroyed rather than risk capture. This reality contradicts the popular image of King Tigers fighting to the death, suggesting their greatest enemy wasn't Allied firepower but Germany's collapsing support infrastructure. The King Tiger marked a turning point in tank design. Its impressive firepower and thick armor influenced future tank development. But did its legacy extend beyond its battlefield performance? Yes. The King Tiger introduced innovations like advanced suspension systems and powerful guns that became standard in later designs. Its sheer size and capabilities led engineers to rethink tank warfare, resulting in more specialized and versatile designs. But was it all for the better? Its flaws also shaped tank development in the post-war era. Post-war tank designers studied the King Tiger extensively, but often to learn what not to do. The Soviet T-54/55, the most produced tank in history, incorporated the King Tiger's sloped armor concept, but at half the weight. American designers prioritized reliability and mobility in the M48 pattern, explicitly rejecting the King Tiger's maintenance-heavy approach. As one British engineer put it, "The King Tiger taught us that the perfect tank on paper means nothing if it can't reach the battlefield." This practical philosophy continues to influence modern tank design, where balanced capabilities trump theoretical superiority. Could modern tanks still learn from its design? The King Tiger left a lasting impact on armored warfare even after World War II. Its advanced armor and powerful 88mm gun set new standards in tank design. Post-war, both the US and the Soviet Union studied the tank's strengths and weaknesses to improve their own vehicles. The lessons learned from the King Tiger influenced the development of future heavy tanks, including the Soviet T-10 and the American M103. Its legacy also shaped how tanks would be designed to balance armor, firepower, and mobility for decades to come. Today, the few surviving King Tigers draw enormous crowds at museums worldwide. Military historians and engineers still examine these machines, discovering new details about their construction and capabilities. Modern tank designers occasionally reference King Tiger solutions when facing similar engineering challenges. Perhaps most significantly, computer simulations now allow experts to test what-if scenarios. How would King Tigers have performed with reliable engines or adequate fuel supplies? These digital experiments suggest that its fundamental design concepts were sound, even if practical limitations prevented their full realization during the war. Was the King Tiger truly an invincible war machine? Or did its legend outshine its actual performance? While it certainly dominated the battlefield with its powerful 88mm gun and thick armor, its design flaws, like mechanical issues and slow speed, limited its effectiveness. The King Tiger became a symbol of German engineering, but its impact was often exaggerated. In the end, it wasn't the perfect tank it was made out to be, but it left a lasting legacy in tank development. So, was it a legend or a reality, perhaps a mix of both? The King Tiger represents warfare's eternal contradiction, technical brilliance undermined by practical realities. Its armor could deflect shells, but not logistics problems. Its gun could destroy enemies, but not win the war. Its legacy endures not just in steel, but in the questions it still provokes about technology's true value in conflict.